sobre la paternidad y en nuestro caso que estamos solos en este país ha sido como de mucha ayuda.
Es un gran apoyo para nuevos padres y más aún si están en nuestra situación, que somos extranjeros, que nuestra familia y amigos, como dice Carla, están en otro país, lejos. Entonces sí, viene muy bien el programa para apoyarse tanto emocional y como anímicamente y bueno, en varios aspectos del programa que nos ayuda a seguir adelante con esta nueva aventura.
Te ayuda como a ver los distintos recursos que tiene la comunidad para nuevos papás, entonces creo que es de gran ayuda.
No queda mucho que agregar, pero lo veo de la misma forma.
Que hemos aprendido algunas cosas aquí y pues los han ayudado, como este programa los ha ayudado para seguir creciendo a la bebé, como con buenos consejos y así.
Sí, y creo que también ha sido muy importante el tema de apoyarnos con el libro y saber qué actividades hacer con Máximo de acuerdo a su edad, cómo estimularlo. Cómo cuidarlo de los peligros de la casa, como cosas que uno como papá nuevo no conoce, claro.
Pues a mí me gustaría que lo siguiéramos visitando aquí en la biblioteca de Covelo. Está tranquilo y muy bonito aquí.
Cuando no nos podemos reunir, nos comunicamos por Zoom o una llamada telefónica o por texto.
Donde nos visite, porque ha sido nuestra casa, a veces nosotros vamos a Willits y puede ser en el parque. Gaby llega, hacemos un resumen de cómo ha ido nuestra semana o qué hemos hecho de nuevo, cómo va el trabajo. Luego hacemos las actividades del libro. Vemos si podemos hacer un juguetito nuevo para Máximo, a veces ella lo evalúa, cómo está su sentido motriz, qué ha aprendido de nuevo, nuevas palabras y jugamos un ratito y conversamos.
A mí personalmente también me ayudó mucho a obtener mi licencia a conducir, que era un objetivo que teníamos en cuanto a la familia, sí, para poder estar tranquilos, así que encuentro que ha sido fundamental el apoyo.
El objetivo del programa es que las familias estén bien y que las familias estén bien significan niños felices, niños sanos y eso en un futuro es adultos sanos y un mundo mejor. Entonces está bueno.
She has made me feel like I'm important and I can go at my own pace, and that's all you need sometimes when you're feeling like you got nobody.
It was helpful to have somebody there kind of holding my hand and guiding me and letting me know this is kind of the normal. It felt like I was becoming a new mom, so it was very interesting and helpful, very, very helpful.
You know, there was that self-conscious part of me, like, will I be accepted even though I'm not perfect?
What I like the most is that she really listens.
The support that she gives me is special because she does it with love and it's just natural, you know. That's all I could say. It just feels like somebody that I've known since I was little.
You know, I said to Jeanette, Jeanette, you're supposed to be with me for 5 years. Jeanette said, yeah, I know, I'm going to be with you guys for 5 years. That's when I said, well, I guess I can trust her. She's going to be with us for 5 years.
Yo creo que quizás pasó como a la segunda visita o algo así, como que ya nos presentamos formalmente. Y luego ya creo que en la segunda visita estaba como todo más tranquilo, como muy... como que el ambiente era muy familiar, entonces yo me sentí muy cómoda.
Felt like she cared for Sparrow too, and Sparrow really enjoyed it. Yeah, she knew when Gabby came we were going to be making something or learning something, and she'd instantly start digging through Gabby's bags to find out what activity we were going to do.
Not only did we get the assistance with this program, but we also made a really good friend. I'm happy to call Gabby our friend.
I think the relationship that we've built has been just, she's a part of the family.
Planning Commission meeting is called to order. And today's meeting is a hybrid meeting of the Planning Commission with participants both in person and digitally. The public may participate digitally in meetings by sending comments to pbscommissions@mendocinocounty.gov or orally via telecomment in lieu of personal attendance. All public comment will be made available to the commissioners, staff, and the general public after processing by staff and can be viewed as attachments to this meeting's agenda on the Planning Commission agenda page. To submit public comments via telecomment, please use the telecomment form found at www.mendocinocounty.gov/government/planning-building-services/meeting-agendas. Clerk, could we have roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Wiedemann,
Here.
Commissioner Jones, Chair Purnell,
Here.
Commissioner Babini,
Here.
and Commissioner Pollan. Here. Quorum has been met.
All right, thank you. And item number 2, Planning Commission Administration. Do we have a determination of legal notice?
Legal notice has been determined on the matter on the agenda.
Great, thank you. And the director's report for item number 3. Do we have a director report?
Good morning, Russ Ford, Senior Planner. No director's report this morning.
All right, thank you. And moving on to agenda item number 4, matters from the public. Members of the public are welcome to address the Planning Commission on items not listed on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission is prohibited by law from taking action on matters not on the agenda. Individuals wishing to address the Planning Commission under matters from the public may do so via email or Zoom. For information on each of these methods, call the Planning and Building Department at 707-234-6650 or visit www.mendocinocounty.gov/planning-building-services/meeting-agendas. All correspondence will be addressed to the item and made available online on the Planning Commission agenda page. If any member of the public logged into Zoom meetings wish to speak under public expression and have not completed the telecomment form, please use the raise hand feature to allow staff to add you to the meeting. Do we have any requests for telecomment?
I have not received any.
Are there any members of the public in the room who wish to speak on public expression? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. And we move on to agenda item number 5, the consent calendar. Do we have the minutes for November 2nd, 2023? Do we have a motion to approve the minutes? I didn't open the public comment again. Hold on. Yes, okay. I'll open the public comment. Is there any public comments? No? No public comments? Okay, there you go. And do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the November 2nd meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Do I have a vote?
Commissioner Purnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Babini,
Yes.
Commissioner Pollan,
Yes.
Chair Wiedemann.
Abstain, I wasn't here.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. We move on to now agenda item number 6A, regular calendar, case number A 2023-0001, Sousa Agricultural Preserve to establish a Williamson Act contract over 250 acres, plus or minus acres, in the Willits area. So I will open the public hearing, and I'm asking if there's been any correspondence or telephone calls received.
I did receive a correspondence this morning, and I did post it to the public website, and I did email to all the commissioners, and there's a hard copy in front of you on the Chamber's board.
Okay. And may we have, thank you very much, and may we have a staff presentation?
Good morning, Planning Commissioners. Project Planner Steven Schweitzer here. Today we have a request to establish an agricultural preserve in Williamson Act contract over 250 acres in the Willits area. The proposed property is approximately 2.5 miles northeast of Willits City Center and is comprised of 5 assessor parcels. There are numerous active Williamson Act contracts adjacent to the subject property, as detailed in the staff report Williamson Act contract map attachment. The Mendocino County Board of Supervisors have previously adopted some policies and procedures for agricultural preserves pursuant to Municipal Code Chapter 22-08010, and this occurred back in 2015 with ordinance number 4345 and its subsequent amendment in 2017 with resolution number 17041. For the sake of brevity today, I'll summarize what was detailed in the staff report, these applicable policies and procedures for establishing an agricultural preserve and the eligibility requirements. So, pursuant to section 4.2A, the properties within the proposed preserve boundaries have agricultural, AG, and rangeland RL zoning designations that meet the restrictive zoning districts required for agricultural preserves. Pursuant to section 4.2B, the land proposed to be restricted by the contract meets the 100-acre minimum, as discussed in the staff report and submitted materials. Pursuant to section 5.2B, more than 50% of the land proposed to be restricted by the contract has been devoted to agricultural uses, as evidenced in the submitted application materials. These include the use of more than 50% of the 250 acres, plus or minus acres, for animal husbandry, including the raising of cattle, horses, pigs, goats, as well as the grazing of that said livestock, feeding and caring. Pursuant to section 5.2C, the land proposed to be restricted by the contract meets the minimum parcel size requirements, as discussed in the staff report. And pursuant to section 5.2D, the application materials demonstrate that substantial investment, development, maintenance, and capital improvements related to qualified agricultural uses total well in excess of $2,625 threshold requirement and may be substituted for the annual income requirements. So this number is garnered from the $2,000 gross total income requirement for establishing a prime contract, as well as a $2.50 gross per income acre. So the project was referred to the Resource Lands Protection Committee, where at their September 18th meeting, they determined that the submitted financial information was sufficient to be substituted for the annual income requirements. And at that meeting, RLPC, the Resource Lands Protection Committee, recommended approval for the said project. Staff is recommending approval for the proposed project and is available to address the public comment that we received this morning.
Do we have any questions to staff from the Planning Commission? All right, seeing then, do we have an applicant present, and do we have a wish to speak and do a presentation? All right, well, that's, say that? Yeah, yeah. Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, thanks. I just needed to make a disclosure before we had any interaction, I think, or discussion between the commission. Yes. I visited the site with my family at the end of September to visit some of the livestock that they had on site. And so just as to disclose my site visit prior to any commission discussion for this item.
All right. So seeing that we have no presentation by the applicant, then I am going to invite back to the commission if they had any questions for the applicant at this point. Seeing none, I'll move on to public comment, and I'll ask again if there's any public comment. We do have one letter that was put into the public. And
yeah, it was posted online this morning.
okay, great. All right. And anything else beyond that, Jim?
The waiting room with
Okay. All right. With that, I am going to ask staff if they have any final remarks.
Just available for any further questions that the commissioners or public may have.
And there is Commissioner Parnell.
I do have a question for staff on this. In light of the letter that has come in from the neighbor, which clearly states that they have no objection to the establishment of the Williamson Act, I did want to ask staff a few questions that relate to some of the impacts from agriculture. I know that this property is zoned properly for agriculture, both ag and the appropriate zoning types of uses. And we do have, the right to farm in Mendocino County. Is there any clear established threshold for when some of the, we'll call them new farming, something that the county would then regulate?
Project planner Steven Schweitzer here. So when we're thinking about where in the municipal code this is garnered from, so this is under Title 10A and Chapter 10A 13, so that's agricultural nuisances and consumer disclosures. So within that section of our municipal code that captures that level of review and what constitutes, say, a nuisance and what, say, authorities would be involved in the investigation of that.
Commissioner Babini?
Yes, thank you. And just in regards to the letter that we received from the neighbor, I know that the water board does have best management practices that, all applicants, regardless of their affiliation with the water board, if there are issues that come up related to any project, there are best management practices that should be followed for any project.
Right. And I just need to ask Commissioner Wiedemann here, that you're aware that your neighbor wrote a letter. Are you aware of that? Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure, and maybe, neighborliness can be, the easiest resolution to those kind of concerns, besides what the county offers. Any other questions for staff from commission? Okay. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing, and the matter now is before the commission. And do we have a motion?
I would be happy to make a motion that by resolution, the planning commission makes its report and recommendation to supervisors, recommending the approval of the proposed agricultural subject to the findings in the resolution.
Sorry, Deputy County Counsel Matthew Godrowski. I think Commissioner Purnell, can you move your mic closer to you? I think people on YouTube are having a hard time hearing you.
Okay, shall I restate?
That'd be great, thank you.
Okay, great. I move that by resolution, the Planning Commission makes its report and recommendation to the Board of Supervisors, recommending the approval of the proposed agricultural preserve, subject to the findings contained in the resolution.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
May we have roll call?
Commissioner Pollan?
Yes.
Commissioner Purnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Babini?
Yes.
Chair Wiedemann?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, thank you. And now that's complete, and now we move on to item number 7, matters from staff. Do we have any matters from staff today?
Nothing additional today, no, thank you.
All right, and then I'm going to take it to matters from commission. Do we have any? Thank you very much, and thank you for coming, and yes, good luck. And do we have any matters from the commission today?
I have one question for
Okay,
staff.
Commissioner Parnell?
It's been some time, but I don't know, a year or two ago, the Planning Commission was presented with the priorities for the year, board priorities, and I was curious if the board has had that discussion or will be having that discussion for 2024.
That's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head, but we could certainly check and get back to you. Is that something you were hoping to have by the end of the year or maybe beginning next year?
I don't have a firm timeline. I just think that it's really beneficial for the commission to kind of have an idea of where the county's land priorities are for the year. It gives us a little bit of view of the pipeline because we don't really have that much visibility of the projects coming our way. And being interested in these topics, it can be nice to know just what might be coming our way. And I know that sometimes those priorities shift and the timeline shift and all that, and I think that's a given. But if the board were to have that discussion for 2024, I would be interested in having that prioritization presented to the committee.
Sure. Yeah, we can run that by the director and we'll report back when we have some information.
Thank you.
Any other matters from other commissioners? Seeing none, I just want to check in on the ordinances, the review of the ordinances. Is that still, has that been calendarized yet? Only because I think as an active commission, we want to make sure we're available in those meetings.
Nothing agendized yet. The last update I heard is that we had received some of the RFPs back and those were undergoing review. I think Nash is working on those, and that was a couple of weeks ago. So still in the early process.
Right. So, or I think we were told somewhere it was going to happen in the, I thought somewhere in January, February, that we'd get the first draft back. Is that still, or we should wait till our next meeting with Julia?
We can, yeah, I can certainly check and get back to you. I have not heard a firm date myself.
Maybe what I would like is if the director can send a notice to the commission of the whereabouts in its timeline for the when it's going to be presented in draft form to the commission.
I'm being told that we expect it to be calendared in the new year.
That's too vague for me. I'm asking. I'm actually trying to get a little more timeline, and I would like that to be presented to the director. Can you be more specific? Right?
I'll have to follow up.
I don't care if it's a 3-month, timeline. Like, is it winter? Is it spring? But that would be helpful to us. We've been waiting and asking a long time. All right. With that said, and nothing else from the commission, I will invite a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Planning Commission meeting is adjourned at 10:20 and November 16th. Thank you very much.